Good thing I got that on video. In this video I'll be showing you how I get cinematic shots while hiking. And yes, you need to put in the effort. And sometimes that effort does not pay off. Shit. In terms of gear, I only bring a few things. A tripod, camera, my lens, so 28-75, Tamron 2.8, as well as a 20mm, which is very nice for me. I love my vintage 20mm. It gives such a dramatic look. It's amazing, it's beautiful. It's also so characterful, which looks very cinematic in my opinion. And besides that, an ND filter and a microphone. I don't bring much more because it's just too much weight to carry. Some people like bringing drones, but I bring it but then forget to use it. Literally in the video where I go up the Bieberkop. In the video where I climbed the mountain, I had the drone with me. I just forgot to use it at all. So also really think about the gear you're willing to bring. It takes up a lot of weight, and a lot of weight slows you down and demotivates you from doing something a little bit more crazy, like climbing a mountain. One other thing you need to think about a lot is how you're gonna carry that gear. For example, when I climbed the mountain, I had to carry it on my backpack because I needed the walking poles. Which is really annoying because you need to take everything out before you're able to take a shot. So for example, you can use a little backpack clip on the side here just to have your camera here. So you only have to take out the tripod, quickly put down the camera, done. But sometimes when the hike is not too hard, I literally just carry the camera and the tripod in my hands. It's inconvenient, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, but when you get all those shots and they look amazing, it's worth it, you know. And it saves you some hassle. One more thing that is relevant right now because it's raining, think about weather conditions. What kind of weather can your camera handle? What kind of stuff you need to bring to protect that camera? And what do you bring for yourself to protect you while doing it so you keep up your morale? Because you're still working in an environment. You're not just out there relaxing. You need to think about all the things while being out there, which takes you a little bit out of the moment. And if it takes you out of the moment, you just want to be comfortable. So the more you can keep yourself comfortable, the more you'll be able to focus on your task, and also the more you'll be able to relax and just enjoy the nature around you. What is also very important is sound, of course. You want to hear the gravel below your feet, the hiking sounds obviously, but also the nature around you. Hopefully right now you can even hear the birds. And maybe a little bit of the rain. I don't know.
But sometimes, no matter how good your microphone is, you cannot get the perfect sound. And that's where, for me, audio.com really shines. With audio, I get access to great music, great features to search for that music, and also sound effects. And these sound effects are very amazing. When, for example, accidentally my microphone was off, the battery was empty, I can just grab a sound of a river, of the leaves, of the rain, put it under my video to still tell that story. Because sound is such a big part in film that people always tend to forget. And for me, what sets audio apart from the others is that they offer lifetime licensing. And you can get a very good deal by clicking my link in the description and using code SAVE70 on checkout.
Usually what I try to do is make the environment the primary subject. You, the character walking in the environment, is secondary. I do this by grabbing a lot of wide shots. Having wide shots where the trail visibly leads to an endpoint, for example, the mountain in the distance. And then you have me walking on that trail. So what you want to try and do is find a leading line in the trail that ends up at a focal point. In this case, it's the mountain behind me, and then me hiking around the corner. This creates an obvious sense of direction that you're walking down the trail. But it doesn't always have to be a wide shot. You can also do this with a zoomed in shot. This shot, for example, is taken with a telephoto. It creates a very different perspective where you're looking at the character. This puts a little bit more focus on the character, and I prefer using wide shots, but it still looks very good, and sometimes it's better to do it that way.
So since I really only have one camera with me, it's kind of hard to explain how compositions work in a YouTube video. And I'm just gonna draw on the screen for you to see what I mean. So back in Austria, I was talking about leading lines, and The great thing about hiking videos is that you will always have a leading line, and that is your hiking trail. So here's a perfect example of leading lines. We have these lines here leading us to the subject in the center of the composition. But at the same time, you have this huge forest around you that makes you feel like you're there with the character, you know, walking through the forest. You see all these lush greens, these beautiful lens artifacts. Spoilers, they're not really there. If you want to learn more about this, there will be upcoming videos about it soon. But also, we have this beautiful backlit. Let me just make it yellow so you can see. We have these beautiful backlit areas in the shot that make the character pop out, because you can see the character gets a little bit of a rim light against the dark forest in the background and the dark green colors. There's more leading lines, as you can see here. The vegetation leads towards there as well. This one also leads towards there, and you see another line here that leads towards that way. Because of that, you get all these lines in this shot leading towards the main character, which creates a very good composition, even though it's very simple. It's just a wide shot of the trail with the trees above. Now this image here is a perfect example of it will take a lot of effort sometimes to take hiking videos that are very cinematic. This camera is pretty far away. It's a 35mm shot, I think, and it's probably about a minute walk away from where this bridge ends. I would have to walk all the way, as you can see in the beginning. I walked all the way back, and then I walked over the bridge again. Yet again, we have a leading line, which is the river here, going over there, following this line up there. We have the same coming from the top. And then because we have movement, the character doesn't really walk there yet, so the focus is still around this area. And then the character walks into that area. And obviously we have one big obstacle breaking the frame, breaking the leading line, making the bridge the main focus of the shot. And that's why it works very well. Now if we go back to what I said about also taking shots of the environment, this is a perfect example. You could have had a character walk here, but it kind of takes away from the fact that you're looking at the mountain, you know, the character will be distracted. So there's two main focus points in this shot, and it's very interesting. The most obvious one obviously is this mountain up there. You know, we have this big empty area up top that makes the mountain really stand out. It's contrasting against the bright sky behind it, and the foreground is also a little bit darker, which makes the mountain really pop in the shot. But when you play the shot, you'll notice that the grass is moving, and it's also this light grass compared to this dark area. So again, we're going through the same concept again. Light, dark, light, which creates a checkerboard pattern, which creates depth. While this shot is playing, there's still interesting things happening for the people that are watching it. You see the grass moving, you can look at the mountain, wow, big mountain, but also the grass is moving in an interesting way. And it creates more depth, more feeling that you're with the character in the forest. Also very interesting shots to take is just of you standing in front of something. But then instead of having you be the focal point, choose for the background to be the focal point. As you can see here, there's a little bit of a mountain showing through. And in the story, this actually makes sense. So if you go back and watch that documentary, you will see why I chose to do this shot. And this one goes really well. The mountain kind of appearing in the clouds. And then you can see me look at the mountain that is kind of over there.
Another thing I often forget is that it's not just about you in the environment. You want to get shots of the environment as well. Get shots of flowers, get shots of mountains, of clouds, of light, especially light. It's beautiful. Detail shots, you need more B-roll. Don't just make a shot, don't just make a whole video of you walking through a forest, for example. It becomes boring, bland. Maybe some people like it, but it's not how you make a cinematic. Because a huge part of cinema is creating a story. And to create a story, you usually need more shots. Also, one very good thing to do is plan out your story beforehand. Think of a story, see shots that make the story. For example, when I started climbing the mountain, when I started thinking about climbing the mountain, we had bad weather all week. So I filmed that because I knew that in the story, that would be very impactful. Building up to that moment that the last day there's beautiful weather. And that creates a good story. And that's what people like. And that's what differentiates you from just making another hiking video.
So pre-production on this project was very minimal because it was more of a documentary style shoot where I went into the mountains, did my thing, climbed the mountain, and recorded that process. But I still had some locations in mind. So here we have my storyboard, and as you can see, it's just some basic shots of walking over a bridge, on the road, in the mountains when it's dark. I had a lot more trouble trying to film and complete this hike because it was way heavier than I expected initially. Up here, we have the shots that I have in mind, and then we have locations that kind of match that idea. As you can see here, shot of this, like walking on the road, and then this location. The way I found these locations is very specific. For this I used Komoot. Komoot is an outdoor app where you can find hiking trails, bike trails, whatever you want to find. So here we are on Komoot and we can plan a new route. So let's say we're gonna plan a hike. We're gonna go from here, start destination, and we're gonna grab the summit where I went. It is going the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. As you can see, it will plan a route and it will give you these waypoints along the way. This way you can know exactly on the route what to expect and how it looks like. What you can set up here is start to finish. And when you go over these, you'll see, it's in reverse right now. When I hover over one of these images, where that is located. And this one, for example, you will notice I have here as well. And I have some shots from there, but I mostly took shots of on the phone there because unexpectedly I ran into some deer and it was a really nice moment, and I totally forgot about the fact that I can set up a camera and stuff. That I had certain shots in mind, and I was like, where do I find these locations? This is how I just found them, and you can go through all of these images like one by one to take a look and figure out what you want to shoot. And it's a very neat way to find stuff. So if I'm like, I want a location that's maybe near the water here. Click on the bridge here. There we go. Pictures of the bridge. This direction looks very pretty, stunning background. I think that's a good shot to take. Well, there you go. So that's how I find locations. And I'm gonna show you how I find the shots that you see here to give myself a vision to work with. For that I use a website called Frameset. Basically it allows you to search a very wide range of movie stills, and you have so many different search options. As you can see here, I just typed in mountains. Okay, we see shots of mountains. But you want to be more specific. Let's say color. Okay, I want a blue shot. Let's grab a nice teal color here. There we go. Apply. What will it do? It will show me shots of that color. It is such an amazing tool to find inspiration. And there we can also search for aspect ratios. Well, that doesn't matter right now. What else can we do? A lens type. Wide lens. Apply. Let's see what they find. Boom. Bunch of wide shots from the mountains. Let's say I want one of these images in my storyboard. I like this one. Copy image, go to my board, and then I just paste it with Ctrl-V. And then there it is. And you can drag it into location 5, for example. And that's how I go about pre-producing these hiking videos that are less planned and less organized. You can still set up some waypoints along your route where you want to take certain shots. This way you also manage your time, expectations, and of course it won't always go exactly like you planned, but it's a good way to start, and it's a good way to be prepared if you don't have any ideas on the spot.
Another tip I have is just enjoy the hike, man. Come on, you're out in nature. You're not here to be behind your camera. You're here to be out there, walking the fields, walking the trails, climbing the mountains. And I often forget that, and sometimes I do it a little bit too much. I forget about the camera. But just, every 30 minutes, stop, take one shot if you see a cool place, and keep going. It's all right, So that was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you all next time. Take care.